That they were here with us? I'm sure they do. Okay, cool. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. And like the lovely lady you just saw a moment ago in the video, she works at NASA, and she is an engineer and also a computer scientist. Please put your hands together and help me welcome Ms. Hope Venus.
Can I get mine?
Yeah, I'm going to give you my phone.
I need the phone.
Here we are. That's a much better light.
Okay. Hi.
Do you need my glasses?
I'm good. Hi, everyone. How are you? Wow, what an amazing facility this is, and an amazing group of students here today. I am so honored to be here to share with you my story and my love of computer programming. So, as Juan mentioned, my name is Hope Venus. My last name is the name of a planet, and right before that is the word hope. And so how amazing it is that I work for NASA with that name. And if you don't believe that is true, you can ask my dear friend, my lifelong friend, Rita Saturn. True story. That was one of my jokes, actually. So just to warn you, telling jokes is not one of my personal superpowers. So as we go through this, I'll give you little clues and tips. I'm going to throw in a few cute computer words here and there, and I'll let you know so that you can laugh and we can both go home happy. How's that? So the organization I work for at NASA Langley, actually 3 months ago, just moved into the new facility named after Katherine G. Johnson. She was one of the women featured in the film Hidden Figures that you already heard about, and I don't need to go on and talk about how they were trailblazers and inspirations because you've already heard that. But the important thing I want to share with you today about them is they made a difference. And so now I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to pay careful attention to this question. If you knew that you could make a difference, what difference would you choose to make? And how would you go about actually making that difference happen? You see, I have a recipe for you on making a difference. And it's something I learned myself from computer science. You see, you actually do use this stuff after school. It's true. The two primary differences I wanted to make in my life was, one is I wanted to be heard. And the second difference is I wanted to change things for my family moving forward. You see, I wanted to help move us from poverty into prosperity. So let me share with you how computer programming, which is my field of study in computer science, helped me to achieve these two things. And it actually gave me a bit of a voice. Get it? Not funny, I know. I warned you, don't say that. But most importantly, how computer programming principles can actually be applied to your life to help you be successful in achieving your goals. So here's the recipe. It's 4 simple steps. Well, I wouldn't call them simple, but 4 small steps. And they're actually the same steps that you need when you're writing a computer program. So here goes. The very first step is you have to decide first what you want the computer to do. Those are your goals. So remember when I asked you how you want to make a difference? That is exactly what I'm talking about with step number 1. Step number 2, you have to learn. You have to learn about your goals. And when you're writing a computer program, you have to learn the language of the computer so that when you tell it what to do, it understands you. And step number 3, you have to develop a series of instructions to tell the computer what to do. This is the actual computer program, and in life it is your plan, it is your guidebook that you need to follow. And step number 4, and this is the most difficult step, is you actually have to execute your program or execute your plan. And as you're executing, Juan mentioned this, you have to make adjustments along the way. I cannot emphasize how important this actually is. You see, if you're heading down life in the direction of your goals and you miss your exit, you have to make a U-turn and go back. Don't keep heading in the wrong direction. If you come across a speed bump, slow down. If you stall, reboot. Another computer joke. Thank you for laughing. The important point here is do not stop executing your code. Keep moving. As Dory would say, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So futurist and author Joel Barker quoted, "Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world." So let me share with you a little bit about my story. Oh, the picture's up. That's excellent. Technology worked. Awesome. I come from a family of 13 children. I'm actually child number 12. To put this in perspective, if you see the photo on the upper right, that is my mother with some of my brothers and sisters, and there are 5 children missing from that photo. So that gives you an idea of how large my family was. You see, my parents had 4 children in diapers at one time. Does anybody think I might have had a small problem being heard at my house, just a little bit? You see, we ate in 2 shifts, and we formed assembly lines when we loaded the groceries. But most importantly, my number one objective was not to cause any trouble. So you see my dilemma. To emphasize this point, when I was 4 years old, me and 2 of my sisters decided we were going to make our voices heard one evening when we hid in a coat closet and lit a candle. And we actually burnt our entire house down. Now, everyone got out safely, so everyone did well, but the house did not survive, and neither did any of our belongings. And actually, we joke about this to this day, the 3 Stooges, who caused this problem. And you can see the picture in the oval there. There we are, still hiding our shame, years later, wearing disguises. Before the fire, we were a low-income family. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So in our house, we did not use washcloths. You see, when a towel had too many holes in it or too many frayed edges, we would cut that up and we would use those rags to bathe with. So you can imagine the gasps at my bridal shower when I opened a gift of a beautiful set of washcloths, and I was so excited to see them. And I said, "Yes, rags!" It didn't go over. Did not go over very well. Okay. See, I didn't even realize at that point in time and never called them washcloths until after that. So before the fire, we were low income. After the fire, we were poor. And when I say poor, I mean low income with a healthy dose of brokenness added in. My parents struggled after that to make ends meet. And then a few years later, we went into foster care, all of us. But we did return home in a couple of years. And when we did, through some divine intervention, there was a used Atari computer sitting in our house. See, I like to think that my personal guardian angel brought that Atari computer there. And you see, we hooked that Atari computer up to our old black and white TV in our house. And me, little Hopi, that's what they called me, I learned the language of that computer. And I wrote my very first computer program that day. And the computer program that I wrote was to have my name written in lights on the TV screen and repeated over and 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 over, like I was a movie star. See, that is the moment that I fell in love with computer programming. Talk about making your voice heard. That was it for me. So years later, in 11th grade, when I was in high school, much like I'm doing here today, a NASA computer programmer came to my high school, and she told us about her job, and I thought, that's what I want to do. But believe me when I tell you, I had no idea how to do that. You see, she had a college degree and a successful career. You see, I had no playbook to follow in my family for that, no script to read. My parents, my grandparents, and as far back as I knew, never had more than a high school education. So I had to ask many questions, and this is when the learning came in. I got a part-time job at NASA in their HR department, and I was able to read all the resumes of people that got hired at NASA, so I knew who NASA hired. I got friends at NASA and mentors who helped me along the way, and I developed a series of steps to be successful in achieving this audacious goal for me. Now, the next step was just executing the plan, right? And so you would think that would be simple. See, Will Rogers said the road to success is dotted with many tempting parking spaces. This is true. It took me 11 years to graduate with my bachelor's degree in computer science. Now, I would like to say that the primary reason for that was because I had to work my way through college, but the reality is, when I was in college, I found my weakness. Yes, my personal kryptonite. And it was, are you ready? Dun, 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 physics. I know what you're thinking. She wants to be a NASA computer scientist and she can't pass physics. Oh my gosh, it was not a good spot to be in. I actually dropped out of physics so many times that I lost count. In fact, when I read the website for this event and it had me listed as a NASA scientist, I immediately thought, when I get back to the office, I need to send an apology letter to the real NASA scientist. I didn't give up, and eventually I did pass all of my science classes, my physics classes. Winston Churchill said success is the ability to go from failure to failure without a lack of enthusiasm. I've now been a NASA employee for 20 years. I started at the lowest grade possible at NASA, and now I am blessed to lead an entire team of computer programmers and IT professionals. So in closing, I want to share with you, I've told you some difficult times that my family had, and now let me tell you of a wonderful inheritance that was passed down to me. You see, my parents taught us faith. And because of that strong faith, I actually witnessed real miracles in my life. And secondly, they taught us to love and care for others. You see, if my father saw someone who was down on their luck, we would find them sitting at our dinner table for a hot meal that evening, or even sleeping in our living room floor. Because trust me, there was no other place in that crowded house for them to sleep. So remember, when you're heading in the direction of your dreams, there is someone who loves you and who cares for you. And never forget to be compassionate and kind to others along the way. And I leave you with this. Two of the proudest moments of my life were when our two sons graduated from high school and went directly into college. Jimmy entered James Madison University in 2016. And Braden, Virginia Tech, 4 months ago. I actually like to think that I had something to do with that I made a difference, that because I was intentional about achieving my goals, and because I wrote my program and I executed it and I never gave up, that they did not have to start with a blank computer screen. Never give up on your dreams. And you will change the world for the better, and that is no joke. Thank you all.
First of all, from now on, I'm going to call you Hopi. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, what an inspirational talk. Give it up. Hope Venus. You know, it's interesting. I told you guys a moment ago that you did not need to be a special person to do these jobs, to be a computer scientist, to be a coder. And I'm not saying that you're not special, Hope, but what I am saying is that no matter what circumstances you come from, you can do what you want if you put your mind to it, and if you have a plan, and if you treat failure like a bump in the road and not something that stops you completely. We have a number of people, not a number, a few people, who are going to tell you other stories about their careers and how they